Suella Braverman is expected to defect to reform as the Tory leadership race heats up. We're going to read into this more from an exclusive from iNews, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from iNews with the headline that Suella Braverman is expected to defect to reform as the Tory leadership race heats up. The exclusive reveals that there's so much antagonism towards the MP that there is a genuine held view that she will jump ship, a senior source had told the Eye. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Excuse me. So, at the time of this recording, she has not defected. And this article, at the time of this recording, is a few days old as well. This was a couple of days old, this one. So I haven't had a chance to really cover this one. Now, at one point, I generally did not think that she would jump ships to reform, because I just think that she would not want to play second fiddle to Nigel Farage and reform. That was how that was my general perception, because of how, this is someone who is lust for power sort of thing. That's kind of the perception that I've always seen her. She has been one of the most cold-hearted, most heartless, soulless people that has ever been Home Secretary. We thought Priti Patel was bad, but this person was even worse. And God help us all if she ever sets foot in government again, because I think the harm that she has caused to so many people has been just out of this world. And she needs to be kept out. She needs to be kept out. She is a danger to people. She's a danger to people is what she is. With her rhetoric, with her tone and her actions, she has left a shambolic Home Office as well. And made life very, very difficult for civil servants. You can't blame the situation of what's been happening there on civil servants. Don't be an idiot. You can point some things out that civil servants did or didn't do, but overall, she's the one at the head at the top of that department at the end of the day, and she blames everyone else but herself. She fails to take responsibility for her own actions, her own words, her own responsibilities. And now this woman, who looks like that she's going to get kicked to the curb because they don't expect her to win the leadership race or expect her to stand, because she's already made, again, stupid comments, may jump to reform because of how she's seen within the Conservative Party. Now, one of her biggest allies was Robert Jenrick when she was Home Secretary, because he would always step in and defend her in the Commons. But obviously, because he has ambitions of obviously wanting to be Conservative leader as well, that ally is not really there. So what would happen if Suella Braverman did jump to reform? Now, I don't think do I think she's going to jump to reform? As of right now, I don't think so. But it's entirely possible at the time of this recording that she may have jumped. At the moment, I'm going to say no. And the reason why I'm going to say no is because I think she's going to try and play the long game. I think she will try to stick in as long as she can with the Conservatives for as long as possible, because they're the ones who've got more seats, and she really wants that top job. She really desperately wants that top job. But the problem is that she's kind of buried some people 6 feet under in that party as well. She has said things that make things very difficult for her as well. So at the moment, I just can't see her being Conservative leader. And then I also can't see her wanting to be a part of, to be under the thumb of another Conservative leader. She will want to be, and that's why I had doubts about her jumping to reform, because would she be like the others in reform and just another sort of attack dog, shall we say. Her being a part of reform would obviously be quite eye-opening, because obviously not only would that be Reform's first female MP, but she would also be one of a different descent as well, because pretty much most of the Reform candidates are white. So it certainly would, and it would certainly make them look good when it comes to their imagery as well. regardless of what you think of Suella Braverman. So I think from that point of view, it would be good for reform if they were to get her. But we honestly just don't know what Suella Braverman is really thinking, to be fair, guys. So Conservative MP Suella Braverman is expected to quit the party and join Nigel Farage Reform UK later this year, according to sources in both parties. The right-wing former Home Secretary is struggling to command enough support to run for the Tory leadership when the race officially kicks off next week, after key allies abandoned her fledgling campaign. She may even face the ignominy of failing to secure the numbers to get on the ballot paper, as support within the parliamentary party leeches away to other right-wing candidates. We expected her to take a tilt at the Tory leadership and then come to us, perhaps in the autumn around the conference, a reform source said. She will fit in well. A senior Tory source told the Eye there is so much antagonism towards Suella Braverman among MPs that there is now a generally held view that she will defect. If she does, it will be a clear admission that she could not win the leadership and does not have the support of any MPs in the party. Mrs Braverman, the MP for Fareham and Waterlooville, denies the claim. A spokesperson said Suella has only recently been elected as a Conservative MP and has been a Conservative Party member for 3 decades. Perhaps she has argued that Conservatives need to find a way of working with reform, saying that she would welcome Farage into the party, a stance other Tories view with disdain. Her controversial interventions on homelessness and on LGBT plus rights have seen the tide retreat on any support that she may have once enjoyed. Suella is not going to become a leader, at least not one of the Tories and ally of opposition Rishi Sunak had told the Eye. A former minister added that Suella is more likely to become the leader of reform than of us. Mr Farage, a spokesperson, says she is very grateful for the support and encouragement she's been receiving from colleagues and members around the country. The main beneficiary of her evaporating support is Robert Jenrick, the former immigration minister who absorbed around 5 of the 7 MPs who might once have supported her. And he is supported by Daniel Kroger and the former Chief Whip Mark Spencer, and is picking up the bulk of support from among the moderate right in the party, according to an ally. He is being very. He's not saying he's not saying things as out of whack and as crazy as Suella Braverman. He's a little bit smarter than Suella Braverman, I would say. Candidates for the Tory leadership spent this week taking soundings from 121 MPs who survived the election, filling in a spreadsheet to assess whether they have a realistic shot at winning. They also need to raise funds for pays for staff, literature and online campaigns. The party is also changing them for standing around 125,000 in 2022 to pay for hustings around the country. The leadership contenders were waiting for a resolution of a squabble between the 1922 committee, the Conservative backbench panel and the party's board of directors over the timing of rules for the party's leadership contest. The 1922 committee, chaired by MP Bob Blackman, wants a longer campaign so the party could spend time debating why it lost the election. The board of directors, mindful of dwindling funds, wanted the matter wrapped up more quickly. An MP who lost his seat at the election said the Tories party were facing a Gerard reindeer moment after the jeweller who scored a spectacular ungoal by describing his stock as crap. The party needed a longer period of time to reflect on its wipeout, they said. Another Tory MP agreed with the analysis. We are a business selling something people don't want to buy, they told the Eye. People vote in a different way now. They are concerned about, let's say, rivers. They may look at the issue and then choose a party. They might think, oh, the Lib Dems are talking about sewage. And they seem quite nice, I'll support them. We need to think about what we mean locally to win back grassroots supports. It's not just about what they think. The problem is that they don't actually show it. They don't actually show that action. They don't use action. They just talk, the Conservatives. And they've been doing a lot of talking. While some are gloomy that the party could remain in opposition for a decade, others say reports of a death of the party have been gradually exaggerated. Optimism points to how after the Liberal Democrats were wiped out in 2015, the party's membership numbers rose as supporters worried about it disappearing entirely. Some Conservatives disagree that the party should take a long time to reflect, drumming their fingers at how long it is to take the race to even start. We even got a set of local elections in 10 months, for goodness sake. We need to get on with it, said one Tory campaign manager. The 1922 committee has been debating the threshold number of MPs a candidate needs in order to stand for leadership. And when Mr Sunak and Liz Truss went head-to-head in 2022, MPs initially needed the support of 30 colleagues to get on the ballot. At a meeting this week, one Tory MP suggested the number should be as low as 2, to encourage a wide range of entries, although others expect the number to be around 12. As leadership candidates take soundings from other colleagues, their staffers are making notes too. This descending behaviour, while neither Miss Braverman or Miss Jenrick have officially announced their leadership bids, they were the first to appear on TV and newspapers to offer their analysis of where the party went wrong. Jenrick and Suella look crass by jumping too soon, a source from a rival camp said. They clearly got it in their heads that it was going to be a quick contest, but it isn't. After the starting gun is officially fired, the experts from another former Home Secretary, Priti Patel, is to be one of the first to declare. She has formed a campaign team funded by Tory donors, who include former advisors and Conservative staff. MPs Greg Smith and Sally Ballot are seeking support for her. Priti Patel, I think if she was to get this, she would really... I think I can definitely see her... I've always seen her as the Dark Knight behind the scenes, because she's not saying anything. She's keeping quiet. She's doing the work behind the scenes. And she's telling them exactly what needs to be said. Her feet is far more on the ground than some of the other Conservative MPs. She's also spent some of the election campaign offering help to Conservative colleagues around the country. This is a bigger one as well. You will win over a lot of hearts and minds by showing that you're not just about yourself, you're about the other Conservatives there. That's another thing there. Priti is running, a source says. She will run a ticket of holding the party together, reconnect with the membership and getting CCQ fighting fit again. Again, that's another good thing there. Another reason why you should, if you're going to bet on someone, I would probably put £1 on Priti Patel. Conservative campaign headquarters CCH have been criticised for not being ready for 2024's election campaign and running a lacklustre online performance. The new party leader will also have to swell the grassroots who have abandoned the party in its droves. So it's got a list here of the names, guys, here at the end. So let's look at some of them who could potentially be runners and riders. We talked about them before, but I'll just highlight them again in this piece. Tom Tugendhat, the former security minister, 51, previously lost the leadership race against Liz Truss, during which he pitched himself as offering a fresh start to the bridge the Brexit divide. An ex-army officer, he is on the left wing of the party, which could prove a problem to more right-leaning grassroots members, but might appeal to centre ground swing voters. Sugar added, Mr. Tugendhat voted to remain during the Brexit referendum and was highly critical of NATO's withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021. James Cleverly, an MP since 2015, the first a black foreign secretary. Cleverly served in the cabinets of Boris Johnson, Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, frequently set out in the airways to defend the government. He was always out there defending the government, even when it seemed impossible and he looked like a complete fool, but he stuck his neck out there for the Conservatives. Miffed when shunned sideways by Sunak's decision to bring back David Cameron as Foreign Secretary, that as Home Secretary he nonetheless took on and delivered as much as possible the Rwanda policy. The 54-year-old attracted criticism when he told LGBT plus football fans to be respectful at the Qatar World Cup. He denied making derogatory comments about Stockton on teas in the comments and apologised for joking about spiking his wife's drink at a Downing Street reception. Yeah, that was a bloody stupid thing for him to have said. Kemi Badenoch, the ex-business secretary, 44, seen as a front-runner among the right of her party and has consistently attracted high approval ratings among party members in surveys conducted by the Conservative Home. As Minister for Women's and Equality, her uncompromising stance on trans rights has made her attractive to the right, but she upset some Brexiteers by ditching a promise to automatically scrap up to 4,000 EU-era regulations. And Priti Patel served as an International Development Secretary under Theresa May, but quit amid controversy over unauthorised meetings with Israeli officials. As Boris Johnson's Home Secretary, she conducted a migrant returns deal with Albania and Serbia, and she signed a deal with Rwanda to send asylum seekers to the country, since ditched by Labour. She was also found to have broken the rules on ministers' behaviour, although denied bullying allegations made by civil servants. Yeah, this is one thing that civil servants did not like, is that there was bullying allegations about her, which were also quite problematic as well. Robert Jenrick, 42, resigned from his role as immigration minister, saying the Rwanda legislation didn't go far enough, claiming stronger protections were needed to stop legal challenges to the scheme. As Housing Secretary under Boris Johnson, he accepted he acted unlawfully when approved a £1 billion East London housing development. The timing of the decision meant that Conservative Party donor Richard Desmond avoided paying around £40 million. Mr. Jenrick accepted his decision was unlawful but denied any bias. He also made headlines for instructing paintings over murals as cartoon characters at a reception to welcome child asylum seekers in Dover. Yeah, that was another really dumb. That was another dumb thing by a dumb minister there, like painting over murals. What was the point of that? It was just really, really out of order from him. Suella Braverman, Rishi Sunak sacked Mrs. Braverman, 44, as Home Secretary in 2023 after she accused the police of political bias over pro-Palestinian marches, but she continued to make incendiary speeches describing them as hate marches, while claiming Islamic and extremists were in charge now. It was the second time that she had left the role, following her resignation in October 2022. After sending an official document from her personal email, she rebelled over the Rwanda deportation scheme. The plan, once described as her dream to deliver, she stood in the 2022 leadership contest but was eliminated in the second round of voting among Tory MPs. Yeah, I've said what I've said about Suella Braverman. Controversial and troublemaker is what she is, guys. And then finally, they have here Mel Stride, another government loyalist, the former Work and Pension Secretary 62, has hosted a couple of dinners to assess whether she has enough support to stand, and concluded he will, according to an ally. Mel is a serious candidate and has height and gravitas to be a fantastic leader of the opposition and bring together the party as well as anyone can, the source said. While popular, she might have left this lobby in efforts too late. Thomas scooped up support of Vicky and Mel to support Vicky, and Mel would need to run already. An aide from a rival camp has said. Yeah, well, Mel would just be one in there. I just don't see her getting into the final ballot slots, if I'm honest there, to be fair. Now, obviously, the main topic is obviously about Suella Braverman potentially defecting to reform, and I do think she will. It's just a case of when, not when maybe, not if maybe now. I think it's at that point, but obviously it could completely change there. And just looking at some of the candidates, I do think that Priti Patel is the one that will take that top spot, because she's been a lot more behind the scenes, and especially with her bits that she's done in terms of helping out other Conservative candidates. So it does sound like somebody who can, in my view, unite the Conservative Party. Whether she will be given that, obviously, whether she'll be given the nod ahead is obviously remains to be seen. And as for Suella Braverman, if she ends up going to reform, let her go. I just hope that she never ends up in power again. I really hope at some point there is a campaign to really push her out of her seat, because I do think that she's a threat to democracy. With some of the language and rhetoric, she doesn't serve the British public interest in any way, shape or form, in my opinion. Yeah, it's problematic to say the least, you guys. So what do you guys make of this piece? What do you guys make of Suella Braverman looking like she may defect to reform, or maybe she already has by the time this video has come out? What do you guys make of some of the runners and riders in the Conservative leadership race, which I did talk about after the general election campaign, but it has been a few weeks now. But let me know what you guys are thinking about some of them. Let me know your thoughts and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope to catch you all very, very soon.